and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello, my name is Meg and we do crafty things here. So if you like crafty things, please do consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in to another video. So a little while ago, maybe a long while ago now, I asked you guys on Instagram what kind of video you wanted to see. And you overwhelmingly said a string organization video. Why? But, I didn't think you guys would pick that. So I thought that was kind of boring. But I thought maybe we'd pair it up with like a Q&A video. Haven't done one in a while. So I thought maybe we'd get some good questions. And you guys did not disappoint. Let me tell you. You were popping off my notifications like no tomorrow here and on Instagram. So I went ahead and bought these plastic bobbins. Yes, ma'am, I did. I got them off of Wish when I purchased the string that you guys saw I finally got in my last video. And we are going to wind all these bobbins by hand. Yes, you heard me. Because I hate myself, I'm going to do it by hand. And I'm going to show you what I have for string because a bunch of you guys asked me this. This is my bag that I'm not doing anything with. This is a knotted mess. It's got craft thread in it, which I 10 out of 10 do not recommend. It's also got a bunch of old loops and threads in here. And just, this is kind of the bottom handful of strings that I don't use out of all my packs kind of combined in. And there's a few nice things in here that got tossed in here over time. Like this JMP Coats is really nice. Really nice and shiny. Really like that. Actually, I might actually pull that out of there and wind it. Also, I found like Iris in here. I haven't had Iris in forever. There's some dollar store brands in here. Some DMC, kind of a mix of things. There's even partially finished bracelets in here. Yep, that's all in here. And this is a knotted mess, so we are not touching this today. But you guys overwhelmingly asked me what my favorite threads were and what I had. And honestly, I'm not brand loyal. As you can see, there's a ton of just everything in here. Look, there's even a DMC. Yep, this is definitely an old DMC. I don't even remember buying this. It was so long ago, I couldn't tell you how long this has been in here because I honestly don't remember. But for those of you who wonder, this is my JMP Coats compared to my DMC. They're both very shiny. So all you people saying that JMP Coats is matte, I don't know what you're talking about because matte to me is all this other stuff in here. But anyways, I digress. We'll take a closer look at that a little bit later. Anyways, yeah, that's what's in here. Nothing too exciting. Let's move on to the next bag. Okay, now there is this bag, and this is kind of more bits and bobs. This bag is the bobbins I pulled out. They were from the Friends Forever stuff that I had a while ago. You guys heard me talk about that I'm not a huge fan of. This is okay for beginners. I just wound it on cardboard bobbins that I cut from like boxes at home. But this does pill and it does fade. And yeah, so it's not my favorite. It's also a little bit larger than like loops and threads in DMC. So it doesn't really play nice with other thread. But for a beginner, if you're just going to be making, chevrons and candy stripes and a lot of your smaller bracelets, this should be fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. But in a big bracelet, it does tend to start to pill and stuff. So not my favorite. Also in here, we've got some crochet thread. Ooh, that was real close to the screen. You guys may recognize this. I've used it in a few different tutorials. So this kind of gold, again, way too close. And then this is a Karen cake. I was going to use this for knotting, but it is very thin, so I haven't actually used it yet. But there are 2 balls of this in here, multiple colors in each one. So, yeah. And then it's just kind of bits and bobs. I can see that there's a couple partially finished bracelets in here. There's literally random stuff in here. There's a dry erase marker and some tape in here too. Who knows? And this is a Ziploc of kind of the stuff I pulled out of that first bag. When I was running really low, I kind of pulled out the nicer, more intact colors and skeins that I could find in there and then basically drew from this bag. So there's some JMP Coats, some DMC, and some loops and threads in here. But I want to draw more attention to this because this is my conspiracy theory. In my left hand, this dark blue is DMC. Okay? You see how shiny and beautiful and nice it is? And all the other blues in my right hand are JMP coats. And everyone tells me JMP coats is really matte, but like DMC, see, nice up close, and JMP coats. Like, guys, this is super comparable. And like, to me, the JMP coats is almost shinier. I love the JMP coats. Now here's the catch. And this is just for comparison, like Loops and Threads is a matte thread to me, okay? Everyone's saying JMP coats is matte. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I do know that most people say their JMP coats came out of a pack. And mine came as singles. So I might try and get my hands on more of them. I got them at Walmart. I don't even know if the Walmart still has JMP coat singles. But that is my conspiracy theory, okay? Just wanted to put that out there. JMP coats is like my favorite, I think. But I only found it that one time, so. This is the bag we're going to tackle today. This is all Loops and Threads. I got this while I was waiting for my other string that I'm about to show you to arrive. It didn't show up after a couple months, so I gave up on it. And when my boyfriend went to the city, I asked him to pick some up. And he also picked up a handful of DMC stuff in there as well, because I told him to pick up anything that looked kind of cool. So that neon in there is definitely DMC. I think there's a sparkle in there. Just some black and white as well, additional black and white. But this is like 400 skeins, so we've got a lot of work to do. Is it 400 or like 200? A lot of skeins, okay? It's a lot of skeins we gotta wind. So this is what we're gonna tackle today, and you can't really, my stand doesn't pull out enough for you guys to be able to really grasp how much is in there. And then there's this string. This is the string that didn't come for months and months. I got this off of Wish. One of you guys asked me that. This is the string I used in that Brick Stitch Alpha tutorial, which I will link in the cards if you're interested. And I don't know what brand this is. One of you guys said that this is on Amazon and the brand is called Hototo, but I'm not sure because there's no labels on the plastic bag anywhere. This is exactly how it came. And there's like no labels or names on these little paper wrappers either. It just says like embroidery floss, some washing instructions, and a barcode. It doesn't have like a brand name or anything. So I'm actually not sure what the brand is, but that may be worth looking into. Otherwise, I did get it off of Wish. So now that's enough about string. If you guys have some string recommendations you want to make, let me know down below. I'm kind of debating on doing a string review series. Anyways, we're going to wrap these and put them into this here plastic organizing container. And I do have a second one because there is enough string in here that we will very, very likely need it. This one is just from the dollar store. The pink one is from Walmart. It's like a Lord DIY one. Anyhoozle, moving forward from that, let's talk about bracelets. Then we'll move into some general stuff. You guys popped off with tons and tons of questions. You just blew my notifications up. So the first question is, do you wear your bracelets? And if you take a close look in the bottom right hand corner, you can see that I do have a bracelet on. I generally only wear one or two if I do wear one now. And that's just because, I don't know. I'm a little more conscious that they clash and stuff, and I'm a little more conscious that I'm working around customers and stuff all the time. So when they do start to get faded just the way I wear my bracelets, it doesn't always look super good. So I generally try to keep it to like one or two. And I generally have like a simple one on my ankle because no one cares and no one can see it except for me. So yeah, I used to wear them like 13, 14 on my wrist at a time to like really stack them. And then I was in choir and we do performances and stuff and they look really ratty. So I would take my scissors, cut them all off and toss them in the trash. That is why I don't have a huge worn collection for the like 16, 17 years that I've been knotting for. That was another question someone asked, how long I've been knotting. 16 or 17 years. I started in like grade 5. I just don't remember if it was the start or the end of grade 5, which would make me 10 or 11. And I'm now 27. So there you have it. That's how long I've been knotting. This is one of like my main crafts. You guys also asked what other crafts I do. And like I embroider, I do a lot of everything. Embroider, crochet, knit. I have done some latch hook, cross stitch, painting, drawing. I dabble in it all. Okay. And this bracelet is probably one of my favorites right now. You guys asked me what my favorite bracelet is. Y'all know the ship bracelet. If you're not new here, you know the ship bracelet. You're probably tired of hearing about it. I am tired of talking about it. So I need to make something else. Next question was, you guys asked me what my favorite bracelets are looks wise. And I'm not sure if you meant like alpha or normal, or if you meant like Celtic or Aztec style. So I'll answer both. I really like knotting alphas. A normal pattern looks good, of course, but I just really enjoy making alphas. Like, that's my thing. And I really enjoy a clean, minimalistic alpha look for wearing. And I really love knotting more complicated alphas. So when I say minimalistic, I mean kind of like my upside down mountain tutorial or my shark tutorial, where changing the background is what's really going to change the pattern up. Whereas I enjoy knotting things like the sunset alpha or the ship bracelet, things that are a little more complex and have more composition to them. I really do enjoy knotting those things, but yeah. And then a good normal bracelet always looks good with everything. So there's that. I just don't enjoy knotting them as much. And that kind of goes into another question. Another one of you guys asked me what kind of bracelets I make. And obviously I make friendship bracelets. I've also dabbled in some like traditional macrame style when I first started learning to make bracelets because they were a bit easier. I've also done bead loom bracelets before. I had difficulty finding beads that stayed consistent in size though. So once I used the beads that like came with the kit, they started getting really like lumpy on the edges. And because I normally knot, and like a normal bead bracelet loom pattern is an alpha pattern and my alphas are straight, I kind of abandoned the bead loom. I have also tried rainbow loom, but I'm not really a fan of the look or the process. And of course, this is personal preference, so no shade to you guys who enjoy doing that. There are some really beautiful creations out there with both of those techniques. They're just not for me. And also, I've obviously done Rex lace. I have a couple tutorials for Rex lace bracelets and things on my channel as well. So there is that. And so far as other crafts go, while we're on the topic, before I forget, someone on Bracelet Book messaged me about doing a knitting tutorial, and I thought about doing a Harry Potter house scarf tutorial because like it's simple but shows you guys a few things if you're learning to knit. But I'm kind of afraid of it flopping. So if you guys want to see that, let me know down below and I'll definitely do one up. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. What else is there here bracelet wise? Oh, one of you asked me how I make time for bracelets. And the answer is kind of probably not one you really want to hear. So obviously I have a lot of crafts. I have a lot of hobbies that I like to do. Like I like to read. I like to make things. And basically once I had a kid, there's only so much time in the day. 8 of those hours I spent working, a bunch more of them are spent chasing after my daughter, and then you have to obviously give time to your relationships and your family and your friends. So there's just not a lot of time in the day. So ultimately at this point in time, I had to choose one hobby. So I chose that hobby to be YouTube. So basically what it boils down to is I chose YouTube, and YouTube is my crafty space. So I do try to do one video a week. It doesn't always work out that way. But if that video happens to be on bracelets, then that's what it is. And that's like my hobby. Otherwise, I don't really do anything. I don't really even watch TV anymore. Very rarely do I do that. But yeah, I basically picked one hobby and I make sure I have time to do that. And that's basically it. Which also leads to how do I avoid bracelet burnout? Because to you guys, it obviously seems like I'm making bracelets all the time. But now that I'm at that point where I don't have a lot of time in the day, my time is a lot more valuable to me. And when you realize how valuable time is, you realize that it's really stupid to waste it doing something you don't want to do. So how do I avoid bracelet burnout? The answer is simple. I don't let myself get there. Like, my time is valuable. I don't want to spend it doing something I'm really not enjoying. So generally, if I get to that point and I feel like I need a break, that's when you'll see like a collection video or a wrap-up video or something that's like a technique that I don't have to knot an entire bracelet for. or a quick bracelet, cleaning out my bracelet to do something like that, or moderating, where it gives me a break from knotting, but I can still post content for you guys and still chat with you guys, engage with you guys, and share kind of something else. So that's how I avoid bracelet burnout. The simple answer is I don't let myself get there anymore. I used to knot until I was sick of it. And in that point in time, bracelets was more of a seasonal thing for me. I would do it a lot through the summer, like spring and summer. And then come winter, I'd move on to another craft, and I wouldn't really touch bracelets again until like the next spring, summer sort of time. So that's kind of how I did that. And kind of touching on YouTube there, that brings us to the next question, which is, what do I do for a living besides YouTube? Which is kind of amusing because I definitely don't make enough money with YouTube to be standalone YouTuber. I work for an aviation charter company, and I kind of do a mix of things there. I'm a dispatcher, customer service agent, and more recently a operations training officer and safety coordinator. So kind of a mix of things. I kind of dabble in all of them. So basically, I book tickets for our airplanes. I book charters for customers. And then I also assign training and monitor training within the company, and starting into safety coordination, which gets into like your safety committee and like in this day and age, our response plans for the state of affairs the world is in with illness and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I am there. And we mostly service like remote northern communities. So it's pretty cool. I do really, really enjoy my job. And that's why every now and then on my Instagram, you guys will see aerial pictures, because my boyfriend is actually a pilot. And every now and then we go up when there's family up, or when we just feel like it. We'll go rent the aircraft and go up for a flight. So sometimes you'll see aerial pictures if you follow me on Instagram. And over there, I am Meg Makes Crafts. I will post a link. It's also on my front YouTube page. All right, into general YouTube. One of you asked me my advice on making videos, setup, equipment, and editing software. So I'll answer the quick things first, which is what is my setup? My setup, I use a iPhone stand that I got off of Wish, and it's like a clip with a wire on it that has a clamp to hold a cell phone in it and a ring light attached that plugs in and has like a little clicker on it that you can change the light tone and turn it off and on, dim it and brighten it. This is a recent purchase, which is why you guys don't see the tripod in the corner anymore. Sorry, side note here. I do want to talk about the string while I'm wrapping it. This is a DMC polyester satin finish string. It does look very beautiful. It is very nice to touch, but it is not good for knotting with. I 10 out of 10 do not recommend trying to knot with this because of its satin slick finish. It is very slippery and it doesn't hold a knot very well. And also, as I'm sure you probably picked out, it does fray considerably. So it's probably lovely for stitching, maybe for other crafts, but not particularly great for knotting. And I just wanted to mention that because I thought it looks really nice and someone might ask questions about it. So that is my thoughts on that. I have used this kind of string before and it was a headache and a half, but I may do an actual video on it and show you guys just kind of my thoughts and reviews as it goes for knotting. So if you'd like to see that, let me know down below, but I did want to mention that. And anyways, back to the setup. We were talking about the phone stand. I think it was $28. I use my phone to record, so it's perfect. I clamp my phone in it and I put my ring light on, and now it gives me kind of a little more steady light than I had before. But before, I literally balanced my phone in between the adjustment dial and the handle of a camera tripod and had it look straight down. And then I used like my regular ceiling light, and I sat by a window, so if it was daytime I got good light. And then I used a floor lamp to add more lighting if it was nighttime. So that's what I use for my setup. And for editing software, I found a software called Filmora, and it's by a company called Wondershare. And it's relatively cheap, but has a lot of built-in animations and stuff. That's good for someone like me that doesn't have a lot of editing experience or animation experience, any of that sort of stuff. And it's pretty cheap. I want to say it's like $65 a year or something like that. And it's got all your transitions. It's got some royalty-free music and stuff in there as well. So that works great for me. I did use iMovie before though, and that's good. But obviously it's no Final Cut Pro or, Adobe Premiere or anything. So that's my setup and my editing software. So far as making videos goes, my only advice is just start posting. Honestly, everyone I've talked to panics over what their first video should be. Me included. I panicked over what it should be. What's the best first impression? But the honest answer is it doesn't matter, because a viewer doesn't click on a video of a person that only had a good first video. Like, does that make sense? Like, there's some of you who clicked here who have no idea what my first video is, and that's totally okay. I don't even remember what my first video is. And it doesn't really matter, because here we are organizing a string. So this is my plastic case. We're going to start putting bobbins in here. I have glued an old makeup bag from an Ipsy subscription to the top of this so it's more travel friendly. So I can put like scissors and tape and safety pins in there. And I did want to take a moment and talk about bobbins. These few are on like cardboard bobbins that came with the pack of string. And when you bop them and jingle them around, the string stays put. But these plastic ones, the slots on them are like much bigger, and I was struggling a lot with, I'd put them in like a Ziploc when I was done so they didn't get like mucked around and stuff. And I had to rewind a lot of string because like this yellow one here, it just popped out of the groove, and then you just have to wind it. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're winding 2 or 3 times extra, it adds up. So I did want to mention that. I don't know if it's just these plastic bobbins, but it is something to keep in mind. Sorry. Anyways, we were talking about first videos and everyone panicking over their first video. But it wasn't until I just started making content that I'm posting regularly that my channel took off. So definitely just make what you guys are comfortable making, and what you're happy making is going to draw in people who like the same thing as you do. So that's definitely my advice on that. Just be creative with what you have and get started. It doesn't have to be an expensive setup. That's the bottom line here. Who is my favorite YouTuber? This is hard because I'm so scattered when I watch, and the rabbit holes I go down like change all the time. So lately I've been watching a lot of Lil Simsy, which is Sims 4 videos. Because I love The Sims. What about you guys? Let me know down below. I've also been watching a lot of Harley G because I've been getting back into plants again, and she's big into houseplants. And on the music side of things, I like to watch No Life Shack because his reactions are hilarious. And when it comes to rap music, he catches like all the bars like so well. And I don't actually watch a ton of Bracelet videos, but when I do, I tend to watch Alex and Masha. There isn't anyone that I watch like every video they upload though, and that goes for any kind of YouTuber. And some of you guys wanted to know what I do when I make bracelets, so sometimes I do watch YouTube, but most of the time I'm recording while I'm knotting, and my phone is my camera, as you guys now know, and so my other device is used to show me my pattern, which means most of the time I actually knot to the sound of silence. But the odd time that I'm not doing that, I will sometimes have Netflix on. My favorite Netflix shows are probably Sense8. I absolutely love that. I think it was canceled after season 2, but it was amazing. Definitely adult content, so if you're younger, maybe don't recommend, but it was really good if you are a bit older. Kind of odd at the start, but just stick with it. It definitely gets good, okay? Then I also enjoyed The Witcher. The Witcher was fantastic. I love fantasy, if you guys can't tell. The Umbrella Academy was super great. That's more in line with the superhero stuff. And recently I've been watching The Frontier, which is like a historical TV show. following a group of people during the Hudson Bay Trading Company era, kind of some outlaws during that era. And it's actually really, really great as well. And it has Jason Momoa in it. And I mean, is that not enough reason to watch? But film is not generally my go-to. My go-to has always been reading. And I often do audiobooks while I'm nodding. So one of you guys asked me for some recommendations. And let me tell you, I have some. First things first, Harry Potter is my favorite series just because it was always there for me. Like when I was growing up and when things were going rough, I always disappeared into that world and still do. So they will always be my favorite. If you know me, you know Harry Potter is my favorite. You don't even have to ask. But speaking on J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, I do really like her books that she's wrote under the pseudonym of Robert Galbraith. I feel like not a lot of people know that she has a pseudonym she writes under, but they are like an adult series. They are a crime, like murder mystery series that follow a private investigator named Cormoran Strike and his temp agent Robin as they solve crimes. And I believe I know there's a TV series for it. I believe it is BBC. It's been a while since I watched it, so I can't really remember, but I do remember it was good. So definitely recommend that. I would also recommend, if you're into sci-fi, The Host by Stephanie Meyer. If you're looking for like an adult sci-fi book that's not like super, super sci-fi, The Host is great. I don't recommend the movie on this one. Do not watch the movie and even remotely compare it to the book. Not the same. Don't do it. The Host is great. I've read it 3-4 times. I love it. It is a little bit long-winded, but if you're just mentally prepared for that ahead of time, I find it's easy to get into. But if you're more on the YA side of things, that's not really your style. Sarah J. Maas is amazing. I love Sarah J. Maas. The Throne of Glass series is one of my favorite. Her Court of Thorns and Roses series is great as well. A lot of people love that. I haven't finished it yet myself, but it has been great. So much of it that I've read has been wonderful. But there is magic and suspense and thrillers, and her characters are fantastic. Her worlds are beautiful. Definitely recommend. What else do I recommend? If you're into YA, The Six of Crows duology. The Six of Crows duology is amazing. It's a spin-off from the Grishaverse series. You don't have to read it. I didn't. And these books were still fantastic. The world was great, and the character development was like, I was blown away by Kaz in particular and his backstory. It was just so brilliant and creepy and perfect. Oh, love it. This series follows a small group of teenage criminal masterminds, and they're set up to do a impossible heist, and stuff goes down. Definitely recommend. Also, what else would I recommend? Naomi Novik, if you're looking for a little more heavy fantasy but still YA, Naomi Novik is fantastic. Her world building is incredible. Her characters are amazing, and I don't know how I didn't hear about her before stumbling upon her in like an Audible sale. I read Spinning Silver that I found in that Audible sale, and then immediately went and read Uprooted by her as well, and they were both so good. Like, they're YA, but the density of them feels a little more adult, but like the characters and stuff are still like your 17, 18, YA age. So I would definitely recommend, if you're maybe kind of on the cusp of not really liking a lot of adult books, but finding some YA books not quite super relatable anymore, I would definitely recommend that. And then finally, what would my last recommendation be? I think my last recommendation would probably be the Heroes of Olympus series. It's a continuation of the Percy Jackson series. It's a little more YA than the grade school Percy Jackson series, but suspenseful AF, okay, and still has that Greek mythology that everyone loves about the Percy Jackson series. So I would definitely recommend that if you're interested in that sort of thing. And that brings us finally to our last question, and that is, what is your favorite food? And my answer is ice cream cake. Anyways, guys, that is everything. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, bye.